Hello, I wanted to take a minute and show how the SD-90 can be interfaced with an iPad running ForScore such that you're able to make song selections in ForScore and have it drive registration changes on the SD-90. So for an example, let's take a look at what we have here. We have on the left side of your screen is the screen associated with the SD-90. On the right side is my iPad that's running ForScore, and I'll be only touching the iPad. I will not be touching the SD-90 in any way. So let's start by showing you that when I go ahead into a set list, and in this case, in ForScore on the iPad, I have 4 songs in the set list: Under the Boardwalk, Kansas City, Take 5, and Misty. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select Under the Boardwalk on the iPad. When I do that, you'll notice that the SD-90 will change and pick the Under the Boardwalk registration. So you'll see that change happen. And I'll go ahead and just sort of traverse through a couple of these. I'll do Take 5 next. So I'm going to touch on my iPad the song entitled Take 5, and when I do that, it changes the registration on my SD-90. One more time, you'll see that I go ahead, I'll pick Misty, and the SD-90 in turn selects Misty. It also works the same way as I go through songs. So if I were to start the beginning of the set list, and you'll see Under the Boardwalk was selected because I selected it on the ForScore app on the iPad. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to move through the pages of this song, and when I get to the end of the song and start the next one, Kansas City, you'll see Kansas City was selected on the SD-90. And I'll go to the next song by traversing through the pages, and you'll see the Take 5 now is selected. And finally, when I get to Misty, Misty is selected. So I just wanted to demonstrate the ability to have ForScore running on the iPad, able to communicate with the SD-90 in order to pick your registrations without ever having to touch the arranger module whatsoever. The inverse can also happen. You can also program ForScore to be able to change and select the music based on what you select in the arranger on the SD-90. So for example, if I had it configured correctly, if I went back and selected Under the Boardwalk on the arranger on the SD-90, it in turn would tell the iPad to go ahead and load up that song in ForScore on the iPad.